Molasses is one of those ingredients most people recognize but rarely think about. It sits quietly on grocery store shelves, dark and mysterious, often associated with gingerbread cookies, baked beans, or old-fashioned recipes. Some people remember it as sweet but bitter, thick and sticky, and oddly nostalgic. But what exactly is molasses? And why has it played such an important role in food history around the world? At its core, molasses is a byproduct of sugar production. But that simple explanation barely scratches the surface. So today, let's uncover what exactly is molasses and understand where it comes from, how it's made, why it tastes the way it does, and how it earned its unique place in kitchens and factories alike. Let's get into it, right here on History of Simple Things. Molasses comes primarily from sugarcane, though it can also be made from sugar beets. Sugarcane is a tall tropical grass that stores sugar in its stalks. Once harvested, the cane is crushed to extract its juice, which is naturally sweet but still cloudy and full of impurities. This juice is then boiled. As it heats, water evaporates and sugar crystals begin to form. These crystals are removed to make refined sugar, and the thick, dark liquid left behind is molasses. In other words, molasses is what remains after sugar has been taken out of sugarcane juice. This process can be repeated several times. Each round of boiling and sugar extraction produces a different type of molasses, becoming darker, thicker, and more intense in flavor with every step. Not all molasses is the same, and this is where many people get confused. The first extraction produces light molasses, which is pale, mildly sweet, and closest to sugar in flavor. It's often used in baking because it adds sweetness without overwhelming bitterness. The second extraction creates dark molasses. This version is thicker, darker, and less sweet, with a deeper, more robust flavor. It's commonly used in gingerbread, barbecue sauces, and savory dishes where complexity matters more than sweetness. The final extraction produces blackstrap molasses, the darkest and most intense form. By this stage, most of the sugar has been removed, leaving a strong, bitter flavor and a dense texture. Blackstrap molasses is less popular for desserts, but prized for its mineral content and used in animal feed, health supplements, and some traditional recipes. There is also sulfured and unsulfured molasses. Sulfured molasses is made from immature sugarcane and treated with sulfur dioxide as a preservative, while unsulfured molasses comes from mature cane and is generally considered better tasting. If molasses comes from sugar, why doesn't it taste like sugar? The answer lies in what gets removed and what stays behind. When sugar crystals are extracted, they take most of the pure sweetness with them. What remains in molasses is a complex mixture of sugars, minerals, organic compounds, and plant residues. This is why molasses taste both sweet and bitter at the same time. It carries notes of caramel, smoke, earthiness, and even a slight metallic edge. The darker the molasses, the more concentrated these flavors become. That complexity is exactly why molasses is so valued in cooking. It doesn't just sweeten food, it adds depth, color, moisture, and a distinctive personality that plain sugar simply can't provide. Molasses has played a surprisingly powerful role in world history. During the 17th and 18th centuries, molasses became a major commodity in global trade, particularly in the Atlantic world. Sugar plantations in the Caribbean produced enormous quantities of molasses, which were shipped to Europe and North America. In colonial America, molasses was essential for making rum. This trade was so important that it shaped economic relationships between colonies, Europe, and Africa. In fact, British taxes on molasses were one of the many grievances that fueled unrest leading up to the American Revolution. Molasses wasn't just a food product, it was an economic engine, a political issue, and a driving force behind international trade networks. Before refined white sugar became widely affordable, molasses was one of the most common sweeteners available. It was cheaper, easier to store, and more accessible than refined sugar, especially for working-class families. This is why molasses appears so frequently in traditional recipes. Gingerbread, molasses cookies, baked beans, and dark breads all developed during a time when molasses was the practical choice for sweetening food. Even today, these recipes carry the flavor of history, preserving a time when sweetness came with depth and character rather than pure refinement. Unlike refined sugar, molasses retains many of the minerals naturally found in sugarcane. Blackstrap molasses, in particular, contains notable amounts of iron, calcium, magnesium, and potassium. This has led to molasses being used historically as a nutritional supplement, especially in times when diets were limited. While it's still a sugar and should be consumed in moderation, molasses offers more nutritional value than most other sweeteners. Molasses is more than just a byproduct of sugar. It represents efficiency, tradition, and depth. It shows how nothing in food production truly goes to waste, and how something once considered secondary can become essential. So the next time you see a jar of molasses, you're not just looking at a thick syrup. You're looking at centuries of history, craftsmanship, and flavor, all condensed into one dark, powerful spoonful. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. If you enjoyed this video, please check out our other bingeable channels. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.